Guys, Justin Holmes here. I wanted to show off the car. Here it is, 1990 BMW 325i with S54 B32 from a Z4M converted to M3 wiring and engine coating. So here we go. I'm going to show you the engine first, talk about it. Wanted to make this look stock as possible, like BMW designed it. The engine has probably just 99,000 miles or a little more, maybe even 100,000 now, since I just put 1,100 miles on it, testing it, making sure it works. I enjoy the car, but it's not what I need anymore. I need a family car. So the bearings have been done, the conrod bearings, not the mains. Then the oil pickup tube fixed. The rubber O-ring tends to go, and then you don't build pressure, so fix that. And also safety wired the nut so the oil pressure stays high. So here's the engine, Mission motor radiator, stock airbox modified to work in the location, a little heat shield there. Ground control camber plates were set to about 2.5 degrees all around, so you got camber, caster, and toe adjustment. And in the rear, i.e. locking subframe mounts, so you got your toe and camber adjustable in the rear as well. Tilton fluid tank reservoir, Tilton dual masters. We actually have adjustable brake bias in the cockpit. I'll show you that. Manual brakes against, so it's set up for the weight bias brakes and tires of the car. Right there, there's the adjustment right there. Call Tilton to verify the sizes. If you're going to run slicks, you're going to want to change those masters out. But there's actually an adjustment point on here on the pivot point. It swings this way, not up and down. And so maybe can get you about 100 pounds of pressure needed to make the brakes work. Right now they're set about 90, 85 to 90. So nice modulation on the track. I set this up for autocross, but we did dial out the toe while I street it and test this thing out. So we got a lightweight UEC flywheel in there, the 6-speed GS637BZ from the Z4M. So it's longer, so I have the castle brace for that. Then I have the stock hose if we want to make that different so it looks more stock. I'm not a fan of these modified hoses, but they probably look better. The only thing that's kind of missing from the car is the windshield wiper tank. You'll see not there, right there. Easily added. It's just not something I've really ever needed and haven't spent the time to fix. Wiring's there, wiring's intact. And then I do have two other minor issues to fix that are under warranty from someone that I used for the cluster. So here we have FabSpeed Headers and working AC. AC is working off of GPetersons CAN controller. So basically I had to build a custom computer with coding to make this thing work and add a relay to trigger it. We can make it work the way the M3 does, and I can help with all this. I wrote up all the documentation and wiring to do this, as it was unclear from Gary. But here you can see an additional sensor I added. You just need to wire that up and then make an adapter for the pressure switch. Take the pressure switch out, make it a pressure sensor from the M3, and wire that back up to the CAN controller, which is in the glove box. And then you have variable displacement AC, which turns off at load and triggers the AC fan depending on engine speed and load and car speed. So it's pretty cool, but I'm just running off the stock E30 method right now. It's easier, and I just needed to make sure it all works first before going crazy. So here's my the ground point I added for further things that which I'll show you. So we have BBS style 42s all around. Wilwood brakes in the back. E36 M3 brakes up front. So we chose the master cylinders proper for that build. It stops very well. Then E325 IS side skirts and mud flaps. Dual 2.5 exhaust to cats to X pipe. Sounds very nice, kind of loud, but it's drivable. There we go. From the interior. So I did replace all the seat shocks, so up, down, and back and forward work. It's clean. Drive-by wire set up. Oh, there, that's for my shift light brightness right there. I'll show you that here. It's clean. Here we have voltmeter, oil pressure, oil temp. This one's getting warranted by Greg at Bavarian Restoration, or if not, I'll pay for it. 242,000 on the car and 1,100 on the engine since the swap. I just rolled over 999 the other day. Then we have here George Graves Stealth narrowband and wideband there, and then we have, again, there's the cluster, and then here this is your brake bias. So find what you need depending on your stiction. And the RTD shifter, which is self-centering. There's a spring right in there, and it has really no play. Hard, oops, there we go. Hard left in front for reverse, and anyway, first, second, third, fourth. No, put the clutch in. Fourth, or fifth, fifth, sixth. So the second to third, just push forward. Second to third, it just drops right in there. And then fifth to fourth, just pull back. Fifth to fourth, it's nice, very nice. It takes a little to get used to because it's quote unquote short throw, but long lever. So to get your torque back into this, and if you want to adjust this forward and back, you can adjust this left and right. So wherever you're driving, if you want, you can adjust where your hand hits. So this is about perfect for me to neutral. First is boom, I'm there, just around. And fifth, it's a bit far, but can be done. Cruise control does work. The only thing that's not wired in is the clutch, which I know how to wire it in. I'm just can't find the stinking plug, or I'm gonna order a few and see, but that may not get finished. But it does turn the cruise control off with the brake. Clutch not yet right now, but it's coded to know how fast the engine is turning and what gear it thinks it's in. I found that all out courtesy of Terra Phantom online. So I got the cruise control working. There's no error codes that don't need to be messed with. Anything that the car doesn't have, I turned off. Here, let's look at the glove box right here. Glove box, there's a lot of wiring in there. That's just where it gets kind of shoved. Cleaned up as best I could. It's not easy to remove the computer if you need to, but you can. ODB 2 port right here. And there we go. And then this is for the narrowband, wideband. I just got to run that, snake it all down through here and then out to the exhaust. So here, yeah, that's it. We do have aftermarket stereo, about 1,000 watts worth. I'll show you guys that. I'll show you this as well. Let's see, neutral. Okay. So here we have sport button. Oops. Turn it on. Sport button. on. Right now it's set as default M3 off every time you turn the car on. I can change that to, do you want it default on all the ways, off always, memory, or defaults back to off upon start. So, easy enough. Here we go. We do have a dash crack that happened as I was working on the car. This was a crack-free dash until about 2 weeks out in the sun while I was working on it. I have another dash which is in better condition. You can see another potential crack right around there starting. That's all the other one has. Well, I would probably spend $600 and swap it out for another leather wrap dash. Here we go. Audison 400 watt system and Matt's 600 watt sub. So Luke box 10-inch, Matt's 600 watts, and Procast 3.0 sub. Sounds nice. Could probably use a little more tuning for the frequency range, but it does quote unquote bump. I did that probably 2011. We have, you can see under there, sway bar mounts, nice and thick ones. The car's not a lift, so I can't show you. Exhaust. Try to mimic the stock exhaust. The car really doesn't look like anything except for it's quick and a little bit better stance. So, and I released the coating free to anyone that wants to put this engine in. I'm on GitHub, sale.4k. I'll have links for all this. Yeah, if you have any questions, please ask. So again, S54 B32 from a Z4M, all converted to an M3, looking as stock as possible in the engine bay for my budget. Lightweight flywheel, FabSpeed headers, dual 2.5-inch exhaust to cats to X pipe, and then back out to the MagnaFlow muffler. Ground control suspension, fully adjustable camber caster toe in the front and camber and toe in the rear, and it locks. Again, the only thing that really needs to be addressed is probably add the windshield wiper stuff, and I'll show you here the paint. It's not the greatest paint job anymore. It was repainted 2005-ish, but the clear coat started peeling, so I quickly just wet sanded it and re-cleared real quick just so it didn't spread. But it could definitely be done nicer. With how many thousands I've been thrown at this, the wife said, no, you don't need paint work. So I said, fine, I'll just make it work for now. It's not bad, or well, it depends on your definition. It's definitely not a show car, but it's not absolutely terrible either. You still get a ton of comments, but yeah, if I could throw another 10 grand at paint like anyone else, I would, to make it a show car. But then do I want to track it? Doesn't matter, it's not up to me anymore. I'm not going to track it. Again, working AC, working cruise control. Probably one of the few that have both, especially cruise control. I probably might be one of the only ones that have that, but I've written up how to do all that for everyone. AC again is pretty much running off the computer, the custom computer, and but the radiator SPAL fan, 16-inch SPAL fan up front. Let's see, yeah, it's in there. Okay. Anyway, I don't want to make this thing run too long. Thanks, you guys, and I appreciate taking a look. One last thing I wanted to show was the these act as your oil change lights as well as your rev lights. They start around 4 and blink real bright at 8. So here. Oh, there you go. Check that out. And I set it up so you can turn on the dimmer here. So that's bright, that's actually dim. Kind of same, if you pull out the lights, they're going to be dimmer here because they're too bright for the nighttime. And you can change that by reading the directions, pulling a fuse, and then it lets you choose the brightness for this. Anyway, and again, warranting to get these two fixed. This one works just fine. Something about this one isn't happy all the time, so Greg at Bavrest is going to take care of that, and if he decides it's out of warranty, that's fine. I'll pay him to do that because I know you guys want that. Thanks.